Paradigms. The paradigms in our life can, if we're not careful, rapidly become this silent, invisible killers. That they kill those things that are important to us, our business models, our relationships, our ministry. Now, before you kind of jump to the conclusion that this is a bit of exaggeration, we need to recognize the need to continually reevaluate and recreate the paradigms in our life. In fact, recreation should be the new normal for us. I continually run into amazing people that in one way or another are being held back by certain paradigms in their life. Now, some of the examples I'm going to show are business related, but the reality is it does relate to every area of our life, our relationships. That if we fall into the paradigm of what used to work and continue to just live out that pattern, then it becomes stale, it becomes lifeless. And as we will see, that paradigms are not God's model, that everything that God did was both consistent with His character, but new and creative every time He did it. That it would require His people and us to continually look to Him for that new creation. That not to rely on the paradigm itself of how He did it in the past, how it worked in the past, what worked great in the past, but to continue to seek Him for that new approach, that new solution. Some great examples of paradigms that become lifeless when we cling to the old ways. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a certain benefit, a certain way that nostalgia enhances our life, enhances our experience. But nostalgia should not cause us to try to continually cling to the way it was done, to recreate that, to try to live in the past. In fact, I try to tell my boys that as they grow and mature and as they move further, that is my desire. They would build on the foundation I gave them and take it further. And in the process, you continually reevaluate the good that I taught you, that I created for you, and run with that. But the things that were good in the past but no longer appropriate, you have to let them go. Don't cling to those things that are no longer life-producing. Or the other, and again, this is another business example, when we look at patterns that created success in the past. But those patterns either have died or they're shrinking, they're atrophying. And that we need to not cling to, double down on, try even harder with the old patterns. But we have a tremendous advantage that the Holy Spirit's entire purpose is to guide us into all truth. And in the process of approaching the Holy Spirit for new revelation, what we find is our relationship with God grows and matures in a whole new way. That it's an entirely healthy, life-producing process. But that we do. A great example, when I got recruited into the investment industry many years ago, one of the hot strategies back then was a thing called arbitrage, that you'd look for a price difference, that say gold that was traded in London and in Chicago, if there was a price difference, you'd sell in one area and buy in the other. You didn't actually